Alright, hopefully this is the last one on completing this texture. If it's not, the last one will definitely be short. So I'm taking you through the entire process on how I go ahead and texture this entire guy. Just happens to be me, basically. I'm just projecting textures. I've blended photo references in Photoshop together without projecting. I've shown you other ways to do cloth textures. I projected the MCC Tech Camp logo on here, and trying to cover every single thing that I can think of using Photoshop and Maya to create these textures. So back into Photoshop, I'm going to finish off doing the seams on the jeans. So I've done one here, so hopefully I can just grab that, and I'm going to turn on my, this is hand, arm, fingers, and hopefully I can just grab this seam and get a good head start on it. Let's see, that's seam original, back seam, jean seam. Okay, so I'm going to take my jean seam 1. I'm actually going to put this into a group, call this hair, and these are going to be jeans, just so it's a little bit more organized and I don't have to scroll through. These are going to be shoes. Alright, so I'm working on the jeans now, on the seam in particular, and I'm going to start by grabbing this one, and these should be, yeah, so I'm going to do an edit, transform, flip horizontal, and I believe I will be able to simply rotate this one right into place. I know if I line it up well enough on the top, the rest should kind of follow suit. And subtle rotate maybe. And I noticed after applying the texture, I should have just ran this straight up. I still can, but for the time being, I'm just going to leave it as is. Let me see how close I am on the edge on this one, all the way through. All the way through, I'm right on the edge. So, because these are slightly sort of, and where does it stop? I have it sort of wrap around to the bottom, give or take. Something like so, maybe? No? So I'm just really kind of puzzle piecing this one in. And the unwraps might not be exact. So maybe I do this, and I do an edit, transform, warp, and just kind of push and pull it into place. And I'm going to go with that. That's, I think, well enough. And turn off my UV, save, TGA, diffuse map, save, yes, okay. And now go in here and reload. 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm okay with that. That's good. Now I will also run another one. At the end of this, if I'm not totally ecstatic about this bright blue for my gene texture, I'm gonna change it and make it darker or something. I can always do that, and I'm gonna do that maybe at the end. But now I'm gonna run a seam down here, back in Photoshop. I'm hoping I can just grab this one, and I'll turn on my UVs, and it should be like right in the middle. In which case, I think I might be better doing a transform horizontal, and hopefully get this to run straight up. And in this case, I'm gonna just sort of erase here to here, and I'm just gonna run this right down one of these seams. Alright, and I think that's the spot I want it to be at, but there's no way to tell for sure until I check it. So it's probably a little bit further I'd say it's pretty close. Alright, this one I'm gonna just duplicate, and I'm gonna run that straight down, just like so. I'll merge those, duplicate, bring up, oop, merge those, duplicate, drag up, and this one I don't know. We'll just see what it looks like. Make sure, okay. Oop. Turn off this. Okay. Over here. So this one is going to be more tricky because I have this seam here, in which case both are slightly off. I'm also trying to do this quickly just by kind of copy and pasting. Both I have both these on the same layer. Okay. That was an accident. Just gonna copy this off. Control X. I think Control J. No, I'll just do a new one. Control V. And maybe it's more so like right here. And this one maybe is whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know, something like that. Alright, and then back over here. TGA. And this is really a super repetitive process, as you can tell, without just projecting it on the texture. But these are for anyone who there we go. So that seam is in proper spot. This one's way off. Turn symmetry off so I can see. And I want to bring this one a little bit further left. seems good. Okay, save, yes, enter, Maya. There it goes. And that's good to get my seam started. I'm also going to want to run a seam down at the bottom here to give it more of a realistic, somewhat jeans look. Just kind of piecing this together from textures, and I'm just going to duplicate this. Rotate it around. Enter. And this one. Okay. From this one, I'm going to do edit, transform, and warp. And I'm just going to line it up the best I can to okay. Really, the only thing I want on this layer is this part, so I don't know what other things are on it, but oop. Alright, and edit, transform, warp, and I'm gonna line this one up along the bottom of the jeans as the best I can. Trying not to lose too much of that detail. You'll see that it's really stretching this texture quite a bit. Oh, too much. Give or take something like that. Sure, I lost some detail, but I'm trying to do this as quickly as I can. And maybe I just bring it up a couple pixels, and that'll work. Okay, so for this one, I'll just duplicate. Edit, transform, flip horizontal, Control T. And try to place it best I can. Do something like that. Alright, that's, I believe, all the seams I need on this part so far. Alright, and then over here, you'll see I should have somewhat of a seam at the bottom. It's a little texture stretched and so on and so forth, but I could fix it, but I'm just going to leave it for now. And then I've got to finish off the seam here, and I would like to line this up also, but we'll see how that goes. Back in here, I'm going to take this one, and I'm just erasing this part. I'm creating a new layer. I just had too much information on that one that was making it hard for me to rotate and things. And here, I'm going to run this one straight up, I guess, something like so. And then I think it transform the vertical. Okay, and then I'm just going to steal a part over here. And then Control T. And bring this one into place. I'm just trying to create that sort of jean seam where the zipper goes. And then we'll do something like this. Is it perfect? No, and that might be too low. But only one way to find out. I'll turn this off. TGA, save, yes, okay, Maya, alright, oh, so I need to do a little bit more in Photoshop. Which layer is that on? There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take this one more time. Is it this one? Oop. Delete that. Yes. It's this one. And Control T. And let's turn on the UVs. And I'm just going to run this sort of straight across. Okay, and then I'm just going to duplicate that. And then rotate it. Something like that. Edit, transform, duplicate it again, vertical. And then I'm going to drag this one down. Oh. over to here. And I'm going to see that one ends right about there. That one is going to end right about there. And what I'm doing is I'm matching up about this approximate part to the other approximate part on the UV. So I could try and get it closer. That's just a whole guess and check kind of thing. From here, save, TGA, save. Oh, before I do that, let's turn the UV off. TGA, save, yes, okay. In Maya, reload. They actually lined up pretty well. They should be a little bit higher, but I'll take it for what it is. Actually, here, that's just another warp. It really does need to be a little bit higher. So and this one, edit, transform, warp. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Control X, Control Shift V. Ooh, ooh. This one. Let's try that again. Edit, transform, warp. There we go. And here I'm going to simply try to just whoa, 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 have it go higher. I'm actually really surprised how close it came. I really want to take it towards the top of it. Edit, transform, warp. Probably better to do it sort of this way, to have it kind of go upward. And then but I also would like this to sort of have a decent duplicate this one, edit, transform, flip, vertical, and let's go ahead and drag that down and rotate it. Have it go pretty close to the top here. I don't know if it's exact, but give or take, let's see. It does go pretty high on there. Too much. Alright, I'll go with that, and then I'm gonna hide whichever one it is. There we go. And Turn off the UV. TGA. Save. Yes. Okay. Maya. And reload. And they go up a little bit too wonky. Anyway, you get the idea. And then I need a little cleanup in there. Before it was going too low. But that's fine. And then, whoops. Let me zoom out. And then the last things I'll do here is once I clean up these little sections here, I'm going to go and try to match up these seams. So it could literally be on like any one of these. Let's see. Face. Okay, none of those are showing. Shoes. Oh, one thing I do know is that it will be on a higher layer. It should be. So it could be. Alright, it's not there. It's got to be higher layer than the jeans themselves. Alright. Which could even be on the jeans themselves. I don't think so though. It's not the hair layer. It's not this layer. And maybe it's just simply jeans. And maybe I just, hopefully this will work. Oh yeah, there it goes. And it's directly right on the jeans. Spot healing brush. And then that should be it. Now, the last thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this out one last time. TGA. Save. Yes. Okay. Maya. Reload. I also need to include pockets, so I never got to the pockets part, but okay. What are you gonna do? Alright, so you get the idea on how to do it. Now that I have a texture that I like, and I would need to do that one too, I should be able to export selection, and that's fine, and I'll call this touch-ups. See if I can get this to work right. If not, trying to match up the seams. Hopefully this will work, and we'll see what happens. And that's exporting as an OBJ. Now I'm going to do File, and touch-ups. Oop. Touch-ups. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully this works right. And it did. So because I exported out my mesh with my material on there, it should open up with the material directly on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to blend these regions together using the spot healing brush. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And let's try that again on diffuse map. Spot healing brush. Typically this works. Let's try to rotate around to a different angle. And then let's just pan over. If I can get it to work right on one side, it will work. I can just, you know, copy and paste it to the other side. Oop, wrong tool. Spot healing brush. I'm in 3D. It's not working as I was hoped. Let me double check something. Okay. So I need it to okay. So let's try using a clone stamp and see if I can get anything there. And that's not working the way I wanted it to either. I may need a higher resolution. So let's try this one more time. I'm going to hit no and exit no and file open. And let's try this one more time. So that MTL file that you see there, let's do, what was this? Used to be like 10, I don't know, 1280 by, I don't know, 1280. Let's see if that works. And let's do 300. This should take maybe an extra minute or two to load properly. But maybe, just maybe, I'll have a higher resolution that it'll allow me to work with, is the idea. So maybe these tools that I'm trying to use that are really highly based off of, you know, the pixels around them, or like with the clone stamp, you're grabbing directly from pixels. So I'm going to try the spot healing brush one more time. And I'm going to increase the size slightly. And typically it should draw right on there. Maybe if I rotate the light, it will help. And let's try it one more time. You can see it's trying to work, but it's not doing what I want it to do. You can actually see all the the topology in here. It imports it all triangulated, so you see all these little triangles. I can try the clone stamp tool. I thought for sure this might help, and no. So the real way I would need to do this is actually just start projecting the textures on there on a new layer or something, and then blending it all together. Arm inside. Okay. And touch-ups. And this isn't even like the part of the arm. I don't even think I have a photo of this part. Let's delete that one actually. Arm 3/4 might be a better one to use. Transform, flip horizontal, Control T. And I'm really just trying to clean up that seam. And that's too hard, I want it to be soft. And this may be like probably one of the better ways to do, let's just see what happens. I'll just merge it down and see what happens. Oop. Double click off, and you'll see that it actually did, I'm going to double click on my diffuse map. And I don't know which arm it was, but one of these arms is different. And going back over here, that's really the only way that I can show you without those tools working properly on how to create some good seamless textures, because the other tools really aren't working the way I would like them to, in which case I'm just going to run a quick color here, I think, and then I can probably blend them together okay, or well enough. Just trying to find a decent skin tone in here that will work decently, and right click, merge down. And that's fine, and then I can go ahead and use the spot healing brush, and again I'm just gonna sort of try to find that same spot to match up my clean up my seams. So on the wrist region, now I'm going to go to the other arm, rotate around, and I'm not creating new layers or anything. I should be, but I'm just kind of just trying to show you here. Control V, and then we're just going to look for somewhat of a decent, get rid of the shadowing because I don't want the shadow in there, or the sleeve, and then that might be too much, but we'll see what happens. And maybe something like that. And I don't want it in the hand. I could have it go merge sort of into the wrist, which would save me one step if I do it that way. And something like that. I'm just going to go with it. And Control V. And I'm just going to again take smaller section over here for the skin color to Go over the wrist. And get rid of that sort of color there. Merge down. And that one didn't work too well. Doesn't look like it anyway. Alrighty. Try one more time on that section. Because as long as I can get the seam to sort of be hidden, I can fix the rest of it fairly decent. Oop. Maybe it worked okay, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. And then I'll just do the top part. And then again, I'm just going to use this part right here. And take off the top here so it's not such a harsh shadow I'm working with. Right click, merge down. And it looks like it's starting to be okay. Alright. Whoop. Zoom out. Rotate around. If I grabbed one of those seams, I could just seam this together. .psb, I need to do this one. I'll take this one right here, Control A, Control C, touch-ups, and then Control V, and then I'm just going to sort of grab just what I need on it. And scale it. All right. And something like that, and then I'll just merge down. Rotate again, Control V. And just kind of grab what I need. Zoom in. And just kind of line it up. A little bit smaller, probably. Probably right about there. Merge down. Rotate around. And zoom out. And rotate this light. Too much. And in this region, I'm gonna try to do one thing. If I double click in here, I've just been projecting it all onto the same texture map, but in this case I'm going to create a new layer because I would like to have a straight seam across that looks kind of decent. And also that light is kind of brutal, but let's just rotate this one around. To about there. And then scale it smaller. And bring up. And slightly rotate. And I'm going to place it right there and merge down. Okay. Now in this PSB file, this is going to be my new texture map. Don't think I got, okay. So in this PSB file, I've projected a couple textures in here. And what I'm going to do is copy it, Control A, Control C. I'm going to go to my diffuse PSD that I still have open. This is like my editable file I've been working with. I'm going to go all the way up here to the top, paste this one down, and you'll see in the arms region, particularly when I show and hide this, and in this region also, and in the wrists, and I've done some cleanup on the textures. But with that being overlaid, some of these extra spots I can just kind of erase off. And on this particular one, on jeans, I just have to figure out which one it is. On here, I just need to erase this part. It doesn't look like I'm erasing anything, but I am. And then on my seams, this one and this one, I'm going to go back to that PSD file, PSB. It's a large Photoshop file format. I'm going to copy this layer. I'm hoping it worked. If not, and then paste. It did. So what that did is now I can line this up as well as possible, and this one up, and then in my jeans down here, figure out which one's running sort of straight across. Oop. And just kind of try to slightly blend them together. Alright. And then, as for the rest of it, like spots like this, what I'm going to do is on my very, very top layer, that PSB that I copied over, I'm going to grab my spot healing brush. I'm going to bring the brush size smaller, and I'm just going to try to fill in some of these spots where I can see my UVs. Again, just like the arms and stuff, with the wrist, all you got to do is the same thing to clean up the seams underneath. I'm not going to do it. I did it for the arms and the wrists. I think that should be fine. I don't think it's going to be super duper noticeable. And then in here, just use my spot healing brush now that I've fixed that seam to sort of try to clean some of this stuff up. Alright, and of course there's some weird pigment coloration in here, but what are you gonna do? And here, clean that up. I could have done the end of the hand, which it doesn't look like I even got to, but that'll work. That'll work. That'll work. Now seams are just they're not the end of the world, but it is good to not have. People do notice them. And let me see if there's any other spots up here. Turn this off. And in this region, for whatever reason, I've got the UVs showing through. What I'll do with that is I'm really gonna grab the color using my clone stamp tool and hopefully create a new layer underneath it. Start right here, switch to a different layer, and it's still opaque. Okay. What I'll do is I'm just gonna grab a color from anywhere on here and then oh, it's just the UVs laid directly on it. Okay. So, I don't know how that happened. So what I'll do is I'm just going to grab a really small spot healing brush and cover each one of these lines. And hopefully that'll fix it. Maybe slightly larger. Hopefully this will work. Definitely didn't work there. Maybe I grab my clone stamp tool, bring down the size, and just start to grab small sections to just kind of fill it in with its own image anyway. And just repeat this process. Oop. All the way through. Alright, so that's helping. This spot might be good for the spot healing brush, because I don't have all the hairs there. Maybe a little clone stamp. something like that. And spot healing brush. That's fine. And maybe I'll get lucky. Nope. Okay. And yeah, something like that. Would like to blend those in together. That's not skin tone, but that should be fine. I just wanted to get rid of those UVs on there because that just looks like you had the opacity on or something. This part I don't think anyone's gonna see. Again, I'm just using the spot healing brush in here. Okay, I think that's about it, other than just cleaning up sections like here. Again, I already have this all like on one layer. Ooh. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do my final touch-ups. Here's another spot, and I don't know if that one turned out okay. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll go to the shirt here, and then we'll go to the right here. Whoa. Whoa. You see how it's grabbing the images that it sees around it. So maybe I bring this brush smaller, and it's really not doing what it should be doing. I mean, it's actually doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, but okay. Down here at the jeans, it doesn't really matter for this one, but because it's on the inside, no one's gonna see it. But just because. Alright. I don't know why that's all weird. Probably a good idea to do a double check on both arms again for any kind of weird pigmentation kind of things happening, because I did project some things there. Let's go ahead and fix that. And here. And turn this on, see what that is. Okay, that's nothing. And then in here. Alright, and I'm trying to see if there's any other spots that have some unfinished sort of look to it. Okay, and then if you see some texture stretching, there's a chance you can get away with just kind of using the spot healing brush to sort of straighten it out. I'm just scrubbing through the rest of it to see. I think that's as far as I'm going to go with this texture. In here, I'll actually do I'm just gonna grab a red color. Alright. And I'm simply going to just sort of paint around this section, because I know this red. Create a new layer. Oh, because I'm on the spot healing brush. There we go. And maybe a little bit darker. That's a little too... just for the interior of the mouth. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Okay. And I'll even do it just right here. I'm just gonna sort of... Okay. I do want to keep the one spot. In here for the lip. That's part of the lip, I'm pretty sure, that I projected textured on there, and it's enough for it to actually catch on the mesh. And then you can see that the green there is actually from projecting the t-shirt onto the guy. And last but not least, what I'm gonna try to do is, I think I'm gonna do it on the arms actually, is I'm gonna grab my, I'm gonna turn on the UV map. I'm gonna grab my selection tool, my lasso tool. Control C, Control Shift V should create a new layer. I'm also going to go ahead and select this one. Control C, Control C, Control Shift V. And both of these, I'm gonna try to give myself, let's just see what auto color does. I didn't see it do anything. Image, and let me make sure I got both of them on there. Well, just to make sure, I may have just not selected this one accidentally because I was on a wrong layer. Control C, Control Shift V. Think that should do it. Image, adjustments, color balance maybe? See if we can get a little bit more orange in there. And maybe, no. Midtones, highlights. Image, adjustments. Let's do let's try the hue saturation. Let's give it, I am pretty orange in this, so colorize, let's try that. Nope. Try total red. Bring up the lightness and bring down the saturation. No. Image adjustments. I'm trying to match it to that sort of orange. This is the last thing I'm going to do with this. Color balance. I know actually photo filter has some that might work on here. And maybe I bring up the density too much. No. Do. Selective color. Let's try that. No. Hold on. Let's run a color overlay. And then from here, I might be able to grab one more of those orange tones and start to match it. A little bit more orange in there. Okay, and then maybe image adjustments, brightness, contrast, and I bring the brightness down, maybe the contrast up, and I'll start to get more of an orangey kind of color. It's kind of actually getting there. I actually also need to do that to the hands. Whoop. Alright, and the hands. And oops. Okay. Control C, and then I'm gonna Control Shift V onto this one. Ooh. Control Shift V. No. Alright. Oh wait, hold on. Merge visible. No. I guess I'll just do the blending options again. Hopefully it'll be saved from the previous one. It looks like it is. Press OK. And that might do it. And then the contrast and everything needs to line up. So actually, I'm going to undo a couple times. Edit. Undo. Edit, redo. I don't know what just happened. Okay. So I'm back to square one. Last thing. I need to make sure that the reason I went back to do all this is because so 17 has an arm on it. is because I need to make sure that the seams that I spent time projecting from the wrist to the arm those are both the arms, line up with the wrist connecting to the hand. And that's why I'm going back to do this, because otherwise I'll run into the same issue I was having earlier. And I'm just trying to match the skin tone. I think it's going to be easier to match the skin on the hands to the and the arms to the face than it will be vice versa, because then my hair, I'll probably start becoming blonde or something. So Control C, make sure I'm on the right layer. Control Shift V, and arms, hands. That's fine. And let's run that color overlay. And then image adjustments, not levels, cancel. Image adjustments, brightness, contrast, I think I ran. And I believe I lowered the brightness and increased, and it doesn't look like I have this arm on there. How confusing, right? Alright. Try that again. Color overlay. There it goes. And now let's do the image adjustments, brightness, contrast. So I'm going to bring the brightness down and the contrast up. Maybe I use legacy, maybe it works better. Brightness down, contrast up. And I'm trying to get that sort of weird spray tan look going on. That might be too much. I'm gonna go with that and see what happens and save that out. Certainly does have this weird, strange color to it, but I'm just like this Martian, we'll say. Okay. And reload it just to make sure. And I've got my seams all going together. I've got that color does match my skin tone better. As odd as it looks, it still does match better. This is terrible pigmentation going in there. Even in this region, it looks like I got some black and blues going. But for the most part, it's clean enough. It's good enough. I should probably do. This is okay. It's okay enough. That seam is cleaned up, even though my coloration and pigmentation is just atrocious. It does need more cleanup. However, it does match the reference. It is coming along, and I would say that this is as far as I'm going to take the texturing. At some point, maybe I'll add pocket, but for now, I'm pleased with it. And maybe I do a cleanup here. I don't know. And that would just be done using some projection texturing. Anyway, there's my spray tan me, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It went way longer than I expected, but I covered everything from start to finish on texturing, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I'm going to get into rigging next.